Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Come along, we'll take a walk, take a look at some sights and chat a bit. It's not raining yet, but it will be shortly. This is a walk. This is just coming up here across this little bridge is Country Mall, Gaisano Country Mall. And this is an exit ramp off of I guess you call it an exit ramp off of a two-lane road, four-lane road actually. And Gaisano Mall it's a small mall, but has almost everything that you would normally need. Pretty decent sized grocery store in there. And the major grocery stores here in Cebu City, Mandaue City area are Gaisano, Metro, and SM, I guess. And they have branches that have different names. There's Savers, there's different names in different areas. And I don't want to forget Robinson's. Robinson's Mall, Robinson's supermarkets are scattered around town as well. Gaisano Country Mall. Now back behind, if you would take this next road and go back behind and beside, go down this road and then take a right. I think there is an old bowling alley there, and a lot of expats. I think they still bowl there a certain day of the week. Not sure what day it is. I went there one or two times and bowled with a group of people from different countries. Kind of interesting. I'm going to touch on a few topics here, but first of all, I can tell you like this: you can stop and talk to almost anybody on the street. Now, some people are not comfortable doing that. I'm very comfortable doing that. Had very good luck over the years. I will tell you that very seldom have I had any issues. I did a video a few days ago about some kids accosting, asking for money and getting pretty aggressive about it. That didn't surprise me. It's happened to me day and night over the past 5 years, and I deal with it. I understand that, they could have a weapon, especially if you're in a dark area with very few people around. So a person has to learn to take the proper precautions, or just not be out in those areas at those times. Now, first of all, have you ever got the messages, the little box on your internet connections that says, "Are you a bot? Prove you're not a bot." It says, "Click this box or type in these letters." And anyway, I'm going to ask you, right? Those of you who are not bots, you're not a computer bot. Go down below the video and click the like button. And that will prove to me how many of you, if 1,000 watch and 900 click that they like the video, then I know that 100 of you are bots. Also, for those of you who don't know, I have over 800 videos up. I have them categorized, and I have done dozens and dozens and dozens of reviews of condos, hotels, a number of resorts, a lot of them based in the Cebu City area, but also over on Bohol. I've done some videos about different cities, Iloilo, and a little bit about Bacolod. I've been to Siquijor, Camotes Islands, Boracay, or not. I have not been to Boracay. I've been to Bohol with on the beach, which is they call it kind of like a Boracay. It really isn't, but it's pretty nice, more peaceful, laid back. Not many tourists, so you can enjoy the laid back status, I guess. You can see people are moving around a bit more, but still nothing like before this present medical crisis. These wires hanging down, there's an attempt to clean that up. They have sent crews out to try to untangle some of this, at the very least bind them up so they don't look quite so bad. Here in January of 2021, so many questions yet. Things changing around the world with with some nations locking down, others requiring more tests, uh, quarantine times, if you're going to travel, if they're allowing travel. Philippines presently, I think they've got a list right around 30 countries, I think, that they will not allow you to travel into the Philippines, even if you have the proper tourist or visa. At the present time, they are not issuing any tourist visas, so you cannot just come here and show up. You need to contact your nearest embassy or consulate, Philippine, to find out if you would qualify. If you're a Filipino spouse or family members of a Filipino, that might get you in. But things can change very rapidly, so you need to check with the local embassy. As far as travel, I have heard, there's things that you read and then there's reality sometimes, and they're not always the same. I have read that a lot of these places you're going to, if you want to stay at a resort, a hotel in a different city, that you're going to have to get a quarantine PCR test, a negative test before you show up, and travel authority from the PNP, the Philippine National Police. And yet I've had people tell me that foreigners, expats, tell me that they've traveled to a couple different places and they didn't need those. They didn't have those requirements. So I mean, it can change rather quickly. I would like to take a trip someplace. The risk of traveling, especially at this present time, is that you go someplace and then they decide to lock down the country again. Now there were a couple areas, I think up in Luzon, Baguio, and a few other areas up there. They tightened their border restrictions again. They had opened them up for some tourists to travel in those areas, and then they decided to lock down the borders again, is what I've read. So I'm presuming if you're in those areas, you would turn into an LSI, a local stranded individual that may or may not be allowed to travel back to your home province. There are a few checkpoints still around the city. I still need a quarantine pass I get from the security agent at my condo, if it is available, and I carry that around with me when I go out once or twice a week for essentials. And that is, there are checkpoints. They seem to be mostly just checking motorbike drivers, and I think primarily checking to see if they have registration and or license. That's a big issue here. As far as vaccines, you keep reading different things here, different ones that are trying to get approved, different. And now they're going to allow the LGUs, the local government units, to purchase any approved items that they want, vaccines that they want. So you don't know what vaccine is going to be available in any particular area at this time. Chinese, Russian, European, something coming in from the Americas, you really don't know. There's even talk of partnering with some of those companies and manufacturing some of the vaccines here. But the way it looks, it's going to be at least into the first half or the second half of this year, really, before any vaccines start to make a dent in the situation. There's good news, though. I mentioned this in one or two other videos. There is a drug that's been around for a long time. It's used in many parts of the world, in Africa and South America, I think, especially there. But you can get it. It's used on animals and humans. It is a anti-parasitic type drug, I believe. Worms and those types of things. My sister, who has a horse farm in the USA, uses it for her horses, and it's called Ivermectin. And I've seen a month ago or a couple months ago, I've seen some good reports, good test results. And here just in the last week or so, there are more test results coming out showing very good results with ivermectin. Very cheap, widely available. It's been used for, I don't know, 20 years or so, so it's got a good track record. And, you know, if the one problem, see, these vaccine companies have emergency use authorization, which means we get the emergency use because there's nothing else available. So if you have a drug like ivermectin that gets approved, all of a sudden, what does that do to that emergency use? After the billions and billions of dollars spent on that, realistically, there might not be an emergency use anymore because now you have a low cost, widely available drug that has very good effects in not only curing the virus but preventing it as well, apparently, according to everything that I've heard. There have been a few doctors who have put up information about it who have been censored by YouTube and I think Facebook, those types of places. So I'm not going to put any information up on YouTube about it, but just be advised that you can look into it. There are videos about it. There are news reports about it that you can read about online. So I would suggest you check it out, and might be a good solution, good alternative. This is walking, getting pretty close to Ayala Mall, and up ahead, straight ahead, is the Quest Hotel, the Mandarin Hotel, Park Lane Hotel, all right on that corner up ahead. And then at that corner where the what do you call that, viaduct? The flyover, that's what they call it some places. The road that goes up over the other road. The Ayala Mall is about 1 block from there off to the left. So very close. You can see a lot of the stores here that were open still remain closed. Perhaps closed for good. Maybe the people closed them and went back to their home provinces during this present crisis. Very few people out here compared to the numbers that would be out here normally. December, January, February are huge tourist months in the Philippines, especially here in Cebu City, and definitely not going to be the case this year. It's going to be a long, hard recovery for the Philippines and several other countries. Anyway, thanks for coming along. Please hit the like button. That always helps promote the channel. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.